We are in Rotterdam. Now in this theater square, theater park. The landscape of this park is done by this landscape studio called Super 8. We have this sort of stage crane, and in the beginning of the project, when they were still new, you could move them yourself back and forth, stand somewhere under the spotlight and perform, because you have a theater back there, and then you have a theater here, and then you have another theater there. In this park they have also this very funny sitting situation. You can see that people are like just lying down, sitting around. There is also like synthetic grass over there, so kids can play, and everything is soft. It's a great example of a good public space. We came on the other side of the theater square to check this complex of or ensemble of architectures. This red building and this white paneled buildings. The whole complex is called Calypso, and it's a great example of a multifunctional building. We have the plinth where you have all the office spaces, the shops and common rooms, and then going up you have whether offices or apartments. This is very typical for Rotterdam to have these multifunctional buildings. Everything is in contrast with this row of slightly smaller buildings that look very much like a New York downtown style building in a row with brickwork and extremely beautiful ornaments you can see. It's awesome that there is this constant contrast of old buildings that are very historical and these extremely modern complexes that you can see around the city. While we're here, we also want to meet some of our friends from the podcast. At some point, we are trying to meet Irgan Saljani. I met him yesterday because we arrived actually yesterday, but we were so tired after 8 hours of bus riding. We did just a first exploration of the city, and now we're gonna show you around, and I hope you really like it because it's very interesting, although it's not how I expected it to be. Way more rougher. It's also not so clean, I would say, but definitely there are certain architectural masterpieces that it's worth visiting, and we're gonna try to show you as much as possible. In the meanwhile, we arrived at the central station. You can see that it has this super dramatic shape with this triangular form. There is this rooftop that it's cantilever that comes out with the super beautiful glazed metal finish, and beneath there you can see, or I will tell you, that this is wood, and with this beautiful facade in glass. The shape was made in this way because the architect wanted to make a guiding line towards that historical building over there that you can see. That's a post-war reconstruction symbol of the city. Was the first big office space after the Second World War, because the city was completely teared down from Nazi Germany. So let's not say we're from Germany because they might get this off. The wooden finishing from outside, it gets into the building, inside the building. You can see how beautiful it is, the rooftop. And there are these Y-shaped pillars that are holding the whole roof structure. The station feels like a beautiful closed square beneath this rooftop. The paving, it's super high quality. It's some sort of marble. It is a perfect example of how this surface folded rooftop builds like a shell for this beautiful closed space inside here. It feels very comfortable, and it's also very spacey, so you can find your way quite quickly. I would say it's a very good project. I like it. It's approved. Here is also where we're gonna taking our connections to get to Delft in the next days. Also, we're gonna go to Antwerpen in Belgium. I hope so. We have to figure out the ticket situation with the trains, but stick to this series of vlogs. Visit Rotterdam as an architect and then Amsterdam as an architect. In case you haven't done it yet, subscribe to the channel, follow the channel, share this video with other architects that might like it because it's great. We came to the ticket shop and I want to check if we can get our tickets for the Belgium side to Antwerpen. Let's hope we're gonna manage to do this so that we can show you more also from that city.
Okay, then I would like to ask you to get your De derde. Heen.
The moment we arrived in the ticket shop, there was some system collapse, but they solved it, and they told us that for 2 people, the train to Antwerpen, it's about 118 euros. There is a train every hour. It takes about an hour, 10 minutes to get there. So most likely we're gonna be going because there is this also awesome building from Zaha Hadid. Stay tuned. I'm really curious to see if we're gonna manage. We came to this west side, I guess, part of the city where there is this village called Denen Village, made out of more brickwork historical building. I mean, look at these houses. You just add fire escape stairs in front of it and it's like Lower Manhattan in New York. And here there is a very famous project of MVRDV. We don't know exactly where it is, but we are kind of looking for it. It's super nice and shady. There are bicycles all over the place here. Be careful with the bicycles because they drive reckless, and if you don't mind your steps, they're just gonna ride over you. They don't give a shit here. I also love these bow windows that they have. You can just sit on that window and read a book. Seems very cozy. I also love these bicycle boxes. You can just put your bicycle inside there, lock it, and it's repaired from the water when there is rain. It's awesome. And you can see how they put it actually on a car spot. So they're taking away car spot for having these bicycle boxes. I guess you open it somehow like this, in this way, and then you can take out your bike. But I don't want to be touching too much because I have the feeling people are look at me and maybe they're thinking I'm trying to steal the bicycles. I mean, I'm an Eastern European guy. I might be stealing bicycles. In this village they have also put this super nice bench, so I guess that the people that are living here can gather in the open space, and a beautiful house for a little bird. At this other bike box we're trying to figure out what is the way it opens. There is this like piston and there is something that looks like a mechanism, an electrical motor. There is this handle there here. We really don't know how to open this thing. We found it. It is there. I have to say I was expecting to see something else. This house over there that was supposed to be super blue with time and I guess the sun and the weather. It has gotten almost white. But if you see the picture, it was like crazy blue. We cannot get in because it's a private house, but we wanted to come in. It's a project that they built on top of that historical house, and it's a residence. Another house, very beautiful. One thing though that I appreciate a lot about the color of the house is it's almost invisible because it's towards the sky. So if the sky is blue, the color of the house sort of disappears. And I guess that was also the concept of the color that they used, so that you don't see the difference between the historical building and the sky. We are now walking towards the museum park where we're gonna meet Irgan Saljani. Apparently there is some interesting exhibition. I don't know if we're gonna check it out, but we have to hurry up a little bit because we're kind of late for the meeting, just because we are exploring Rotterdam. We're not locals. We're sorry we're late, but we had to see the MVRDV project because it was awesome, important, interesting. You decide. These buildings look really like the Upper East Side of Manhattan. Very similar architecture, very similar style. They have this slightly elevated entrance, and probably back in the days here downstairs would have been for the serving personnel in the house, and the upper floors were for the rich people. There is this basket court, but what is super interesting is that they have right next to the public area this storage where you can put things to play, like balls and different games. And I guess there is a door on the other side and you can enter in here in the storage and you can take whatever you need and play on the court. I think this kind of public space, it's awesome. The Netherlands has a lot to teach to all the other countries, including Germany. I love also the historical houses. They have this super awesome building quality. Maybe the modern one, not so much, but they have great design and great concept. We have to go there, but there is a construction site. We have to figure out a way around. We have managed. We had to walk a little bit around. I wanted to quickly show you the Dutch concept of a Wooner Street. You can see that cars and pedestrian people are all on one level, so that the speed of the cars get reduced just by the simple awareness that there might be somebody walking on the street or biking on the street. And this is how they do the streets smaller out of this pavement that also doesn't make you feel comfortable driving too fast. And this is how they enhance the use of bicycles in the city and walking around. Also, they're made in this super pleasant way with a lot of trees, greens, and these beautiful historical buildings make it very interesting to walk around. We've been walking now for several hours and we never felt bored, or we never felt like there is nothing to see around. So it's super awesome. Can you see it in the distance over there? It's reflecting, it's starting to reflect. Yeah, that's the giant ball from MVRDV. This is where we have been walking so far. This super historical street with old buildings, bricks, bicycles, everything is tiny. And then you just turn around and there is this crazy ball that reflects everything from MVRDV. This is the contrast you can find in Rotterdam. You never know what is gonna come behind the corner. I think this is the perfect combination between nature and architecture. This is called the Museum Park. From here the park starts and we're gonna explore it and see what it is inside. So stick with me. So Desiree, what are your first impressions from Rotterdam?
My first impression is that it's smaller than I thought, and I like that it's flat. I love the bike friendliness.
Something deeper, like, is there something in the spirit of the city or something that you've noticed that surprised you?
No.
Was it unexpected for you that Rotterdam is in the Netherlands and not in Germany?
No.
You guys have to know that Desiree, she's super, let's say, her strength is not geography. And
I knew it wasn't.
yeah, so she had to Google that Rotterdam is in
I
Germany.
just wanted to make sure.
Now we get closer to this thing. It looks super dope. And Irgan joined us, so he told me there is a coffee upstairs. So at some point we're gonna go get the coffee there. So Irgan, you're officially in the vlog.
Hello.
What do you think about the MVRDV building?
Well, basically, I think the most important part in the competition was like nobody wanted the building here because it was part of the park. So that was a good concept to actually make a mirrored building, that it's actually kind of dissolving its presence, right? It's reflecting the. So I think that's what was a key part of the concept. Like, and then everybody was like, okay, if you cannot see it, then.
So the concept is that it reflects everything so that you cannot see the building.
Yeah,
so
because,
to
because nobody wanted the building here.
Nobody wanted. Okay.
From the city or because it was park, it's this museum park, so it was part of the park. But yeah, as I said before, it's a super innovative concept, having a warehouse basically where they store art being open and visitable, and actually it works really well at this current moment because the Boymans Museum, which is the biggest museum institution in the Netherlands, actually closed for renovation, and here in the Netherlands when they close a museum for renovation it takes like 10 or 15 years. So in the meantime they have the depot, which is from the same museum organization, and they still have a place to showcase and show their art. But yeah, come visit it.
So we have the official guide here in Rotterdam. He's gonna take me now around for more buildings and more architecture. Irgan also has very strong opinions about architecture, so later I hope he'll express some.
That's not true. I'm quite open and dialectic.
But he has very strong opinions. Here we got joined by Boris Tikvarski, the most important Bulgarian architect for 2023, author of the Biennale Pavilion. But I said in order to be very successful, you have to live in Rotterdam.
Yeah.
So Irgan took me to where did you take me, Irgan?
So this is a Kunsthal, one of the early projects of OMA, Ram Kulhas. Basically, I think it's the same age as me and Boris, more or less. I think it was delivered 89 or 90, 91, something like that. And basically was, I think, it has stayed in the bibliography as one of the most important museum projects because it has basically, it combines this early kind of OMA strategy to kind of play with a mass and have like streets passing through the building and this notion of the density. So basically it has this huge ramp that goes through the building and connects to the street level. And then it has this auditorium, you can see better on the other side, which is basically glazed on the one side, so it becomes kind of urban, right? So it's open to the city, and you can see what's happening inside. On the bottom of it has this super nice cafe with this kind of circular neon lights. And then, and then it has two big exhibition spaces on the bottom and on the top. Usually the one on the top has also a window to the city on the other side. And now we're going to see the second day of the Ai Weiwei exhibition. I'm really curious more about political statements and political action in terms of art. So let's see.
I'm also curious to see if you can tell me something more in the inside, so let's go.
Yeah.
There you go, the Ai Weiwei exhibition. Let's get in. We got in. There is some sort of auditorium with glass and the park in the background. Quite interesting. So instead of having stairs, we have this slope you can roll down. Here we got this super psychedelic spiral with the colors of the rainbow. The topic of this exhibition is In Search of Humanity. We came inside the exposition and there is this sculpture called Forever Bicycles, which is made out of this type of bicycles here, and it's very contrasting with the mood of the city in Rotterdam, because Ai Weiwei, this artist from China, he's very aware of the ecological problems that China has, and he is trying to show with this sculpture how China moved from the land of the cyclists to the land of the motorized vehicles, creating a lot of problems with the smog in the biggest Chinese cities. This is sort of his invitation to go back to the origins of the typical transportation way in China. You see this sort of a carpet? These are like sunflower seeds, and they represent the conformism of the Chinese people, because back in the days Mao Zedong was represented as the sun and the Chinese people as sunflowers, so they represent the conformism but also the potential of growing out of your current, so to say, social status. This is the room of this exhibition where Ai Weiwei does a lot of these artworks that are protests against the imprisonment of investigative journalists. So there is the Panda to Panda collection back there somewhere, which are stuffed pandas with shredded secret documents of the NSA. And this is sort of he's making fun of the situation because he's hiding secret documents in a museum. Also, we have this thing that it's a protest for the killing of Jamal Khashoggi. Then there is the Mueller investigation paper, and all these things are made out of Lego. They are sort of this canvas of Lego. And then there is if you see a treadmill back there, this is the treadmill of Julian Assange that shows how these investigative journalists, when in prison, they are all sort of on this hamster wheel and they don't know when they're gonna be released ever. I'm stepping on this thing because there is a reproduction of the Ai Weiwei detention room. You can see it in here. There is a perfect replica of his body laying in the room that he was detained in, and in the different boxes that you can see around here, there are replicas of different scenes of his imprisonment. It's quite interesting, and also it's very freaky. It's quite freaky. Different scenes where he's being checked by a guard in this little tiny room, or by two guards. It's hard to show you on camera. The wallpaper you see in front of me represents the interconnectivity between the different social media that are collecting our data, and somehow they are controlling us. I think it's always really funny to walk in these kind of rooms, because if you are wearing a skirt, well, people can see a lot of things. We are alone again. Boris and Irgan left us. We were in this local restaurant where we ate colonial food, something mixed between Indonesia and Suriname, which were two Dutch colonies, which one of them it's in Asia, one of them it's South America, and they did this fusion kitchen. Was interesting. It wasn't, it's been a while since I haven't had something that it's completely different than I've eaten before. We're on this beautiful street that has this feeling of like Soho or Brooklyn in New York, with these super nice restaurants and tables and things like that. And now we are going towards the Erasmus Bridge. We're gonna cross over and see the huge Rotterdam building from OMA. So stick with the video. This tower over there is made by this newly formed office called VA Architects. It was also mentioned in the How to Win workbook, which I did a video about. So if you want, here I'll make appear a link and you can check that video about that book. Really interesting. This emergency staircase there, it's quite freaky. I would love to evacuate through it. It's super freaky to get all the way downstairs from the outside. And here you can see in the ground floors they have these super nice shops and restaurants, bicycles everywhere, super cool. So tonight we're having dinner at this red ship, which is called Vessel 11 or Vessel 2, I don't know, which have this also fancy light on the top. And we were in this piers yesterday evening to explore the city, so we have those beautiful towers over there. We'll show you during the next episodes. And behind there somewhere it's the market hall, also from MVRDV. The city has a lot of these channels and piers. This over there is the Maritime Museum, which is also quite interesting. As you know, the Netherlands has a lot of history in with the marine and exploring the world by ships. So you can really feel this in the city, this port city, port sentiment, the connections towards the rest of the world since already centuries. From here also we can see better the V8 Architects Tower. I think it has an interesting shape. It's very simple. Let me know in the comments what do you think, because I think it's cool, but it's not really like my favorite thing. I just wanted to share the beautiful view over the Erasmus Bridge, like there. And we're going to the Rotterdam Towers by OMA, which looks quite massive, multifunctional building. So I want to get closer to explore if they're really cool or overrated. There is this Deloitte high-rise. We were wondering if it's black and white on purpose or if the bottom part is dirty and turns white. If you know something, let me know also in the comments. We got closer to the building, so clearly they didn't do it. They did it on purpose. It's clearly not dirty. And back there is some interesting cantilever building. It would be cool to visit. And there are some bridges over there, historical pier. And from here you can see back there is the land, the firm land. Back there we walked all here the Erasmus Bridge. This is super interesting. You see all these white dots on the facade. Yesterday night we saw them, and they lit up in different colors by night, so you can have different images. I'll try to show you that later. It's very cool. This pier we came to, it's super interesting. It is this combination of modern and historical building. You can see that there is this old brickwork facades buildings, but also a combination of super modern buildings. And we are now right on the bottom of the Rotterdam, which were these three fused towers from OMA. And we're gonna try to see if there is a way to go upstairs on something like a panorama dock, so that we can see if there is a beautiful view on the city. So they told me that if we go in the hotel, we're inside the entrance hall. They told me if we go into the hotel, there is a sky bar on the 7th floor. We're definitely going there to check it out, to see if we can have a drink or something. We are in the elevators of the OMA building Rotterdam, going to the sky bar. We arrived here, let's check it out. We managed to get to the terrace. I'm gonna show you the view. Look, it is awesome. You see the whole city from here. It was a cool experience to have a drink at the Skyline Terrace from the OMA, the Rotterdam Ensemble of Buildings. Definitely an experience we're gonna remember. Now we're going to the last sightseeing of the day, and that's it for today. We're wrapping it up because we're super tired, and we're gonna go have some dinner without you guys. Look at top of that building over there. It's a historical building, and they have built these super interesting things on the top to extend the livable space. They're out of wood, so very light structure. Every building here in the city has these huge parking spaces for bikes, underground, clothes, somehow repaired from the rain, so that it's easy for you to use your bicycle even when you go to work. So I think this is a super smart solution. We arrived at the end of the pier. This is a very important spot, in my opinion, to finish the day, because in the background you can see that building over there. That's the New York Hotel. This is its name nowadays, but this is also the building of the Holland American Line. This was an intercontinental company, shipping company, which back in the days was used to own the whole pier here, but this is dismantled because the company doesn't exist anymore. They don't do this intercontinental shipping anymore, and the building is reconverted into a hotel. There is this super beautiful park with the topic intercontinental liners. They don't exist anymore because we travel by plane. It's a very beautiful example of an Art Deco building, and this is going to be the last site we're going to see tonight, because we did a lot. We met a lot of people. It was a very intense first day in Rotterdam. I hope you enjoyed it with us, and there will be more. Before we leave each other, please remember, like the video, share with your friends that might like it, subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed yet, and I'll see you tomorrow for more adventures from Rotterdam, Netherlands. Bye bye.